I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. Why aren't men allowed to wear a hat during worship? Well, this is somewhat of a biblical concept, but really more practical and cultural. Allow me to explain. What we know is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 gives this illustration about men and women in the relationship to one another. And it talks about a man covering his head versus a woman covering her head. And what has happened is within our respective culture, that has been made to be demonstrated that a man should not have his, quote, head covered when he's in worship or wear a hat. The problem is that passage really has nothing to do with wearing a hat or not wearing a hat. It has everything to do with a position of leadership of which a person holds. The passage is advocating that a man should lead in his home, he should lead in the church, and a woman and a wife the opposite thereof. In other words, if one goes outside of their respective lane, they are out of fellowship with the Lord in respect to corporate worship and prayer in specific. Now, what has happened is over time is that passage has somewhat made its way down the time frame of life to where you are not to wear a hat in church out of respect. Here's the irony of this, is that if you go to the Wailing Wall, the Western Wall in Israel, if you go to a synagogue and worship, what do all the men wear? They wear a yarmulke. They wear a covering on their head to show that they are submissive to God. So again, you have kind of this tension here. Now, I don't think that we should wear our favorite sports team's hats in church, and I don't think we ought to wear a sweaty, nasty, wide brim hat from the field, so to speak. But I think at the end of the day, the not wearing a hat is more of a cultural understanding of that passage than it is a true biblical understanding of the passage. But at the same time, I would not advocate nor would I promote the wearing of hats because obviously it's just a part of being where we are serving in the capacity that we do. But it is a great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.